Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks Live. And let's see here, what are we going to talk about today? I'm going to start this one off by talking about the shit that's going on around that shooting, that ICE shooting in Minnesota. I think it was Minnesota. Um, and not necessarily the whole political deal of it or whatever, but the reaction of those people there, the politicians and shit, Tim Walz and them, right over there in Minnesota, Minneapolis or whatever. J Dog, Jeff Seven, what's up? Glad to see y'all here. Um, I really don't care. Honestly, personally, I don't care whether people want to, call out government actions and federal agent actions or whatever. That's a good thing. We can't fault them for that. Really, honestly. The thing that bothers me about these people calling out this shit, and the governor over there, Tim Walz, he's talking about using the National Guard against ICE and stuff, and state going to war against the federal government and shit. He's actually saying this kind of shit. But the thing that gets me is the hypocrisy, okay? The double standard type of bullshit. I just can't stand that shit. I really can't. The hypocrisy. Just a few months ago, we had that girl get murdered on the subway. I think it was New York. Mum's the word. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody cared. You didn't see Tim Walz up there talking about calling out the National Guard and fighting the federal government, a new civil war and shit. Then that young lady got murdered walking down the streets of D.C. That dude yelling Allah Akbar and shit. Mum, silence, radio silence from the politicians. They didn't give a shit, did not care in the least that young girl got murdered. Didn't give a shit. Nobody crying for violence and reform and all that shit. Then recently, a young lady gets killed at protesting ICE, and now we see all these people declaring, calling for civil war, calling for the National Guard to literally fight against ICE, this kind of shit. And it strikes me that the victim and the death, the murder, really have nothing to do with it. It's the murderer that they're concerned with. They either hate the murderer because the murderer is against whatever their mainstream propaganda bullshit, or the murderer isn't. So if the murderer isn't, right, then they don't give a shit. They don't care if some young lady dies. If the murderer isn't, it can't be used as a tool to leverage their position to rile people up. So they don't give a shit. Young ladies die all the time across Western civilization, and these just despicable, two-faced hypocrites, they don't care unless they can use it as a political tool. If they can use that lady's death as a political tool, now the lady's a martyr. The lady is, just the salt of the earth, and the perpetrator of the crime, that person and every person that would support them needs to be murdered as well. It's really hard to wrap your mind around that kind of mentality, right? Well, not the politicians' mentality. They're just scumbags. I can wrap my mind around scumbags all day long. It's the mentality of the people that support these politicians. That's what I can't wrap my head around. Who can support these morons, these two-faced hypocrites, and just in your face hypocrites, right? I can't wrap my mind around that. Wayne Beatty, Melody, what's up? Just another guy in the woods. Hey, man, glad to see you here. Rex, what's up, Rex? Good morning. J Dog. Yeah, if it doesn't fit their narrative, they won't report it. Yeah, J Dog, exactly. Light Day, what's up, Light Day? From the Twins in Florida. Good morning, Light Day. And now we've got these literally governors calling for civil war in the United States. Uh, I don't know. We see this kind of bullshit all the time. It catches the media, and the media will make a big thing out of it, and then it'll die down and go away, like it never happened. Or is it that? Is that what we're seeing? Something like that? So another just a big nothing burger of a media shitstorm. Because they love to do that shit. Uh, or are we seeing something deeper? Are we seeing actual troubles welling up in our society? That is the actual question. Because they're calling for a civil war. I mean, not governors, not douchebag boomers out there, protesting with their taco suits and shit. And I mean, governors of states are calling for civil war. So is that just talk? Is it just bullshit? I mean, they have to know that you know those latte sipping, nose ring wearing douchebags are not going to are not are not going to be successful fighting against real people. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If there's some kind of civil war, um, that side of things just won't be successful. I've told you many times I'm in the middle, But if Democrats decided to go to war against Republicans, I'm going to vote. I'm going to cast my dollar and bet on Republicans. The pro Second Amendment, those are the ones that I'm gonna vote on. I'm gonna bet to win. Yeah, I don't think Democrats have much of a chance. Those who identify as Democrats, I don't believe they would have much of a chance in a civil war. So it would not be in their best interest to initiate one. All right. So, yeah, I just don't think that's a good idea for them. Tripwire, what's up, Rodney? Hey, Rodney, go Bears. Yeah. Hey. Oh, not a topic you want to wake up to, Melody? Well, we can change it. What do y'all want to talk about? Raziel, what's up, Roz? Glad to see you here. Yeah, it's reported incorrectly, biased. Yeah, the media, we never know what to do. Where it seems like the only thing they really sell is confusion. Zombie, what's up? Good morning, Zombie. Duncan, what's up, Duncan? Hey, good morning. All afraid of their jobs, Rodney? You're gonna vote for Pedro Ross? Yeah, but that kind of shit. I don't know. It blows my mind that people, the stuff that people do, and the stuff that people say, and what we're. I know that the confusion and division is the name of the game. I get it, but people actually need to start thinking at some point here. A lot of separatist movements in Europe, Lake. Okay. All right, yeah, union doesn't work. Okay. Ah, zombie. They're putting a data center in Saline, Michigan that nobody wants. Yeah, nobody wants any of those things anywhere, but they're building them all over the damn place. Yeah, they gotta feed fuel their AI. How to realistically stay alive? They're doing what? Well, Melody, in my opinion, I'm not some kind of survival expert or anything. I've lived off the land in my youth and I've spent time in the military, so I know more. I would hope that I know more than the average person about survival and stuff. But honestly, um, we, in my opinion, you kind of have to have a broad spectrum, right? This is how I think, in my personal opinion. You can take this and adapt it to your own needs or whatever. But I just don't know what is going to happen. So if I think about it and I tell myself, well, something may happen, and in my location, it could very well be a hurricane. Okay. It could be a nuclear war. It could be a cyber attack that puts the grid down. It could be a nuclear attack that puts the grid down. Somebody could detonate a nuke in our upper atmosphere, and the CME or the EMP would take our grid down. It could be a solar flare that takes the grid down. Any kind of catastrophe like that would put you in a survival situation. So you have to prepare in a general way. I feel like I have to prepare in a general way, and at least get myself enough water and food put aside for a month or so, right? So that I can evaluate the situation and then make plans. Okay. Because if you're, let's just say a hurricane hits, a big one, and it put put the put the electricity out for several months now, and I only had 2 days worth of food in my refrigerator. Okay. Now I don't even have enough time to find out what's going on, and let alone take any action. All right. I'm starving in just a few days. I have to go find food. That's my only option. Go find food and water. So, yeah, you've got to, at the very least, buy yourself some time to evaluate a situation and find out, do some reconnaissance, and find out what the hell's going on. Because in all likelihood, you're not even going to know what's going on. You don't know, the lights go out. You don't know if an asteroid hit 300 miles away, or what. Possibly a hurricane. We would know, but you don't know. If a nuclear warhead struck somewhere and the lights are out. You don't know what. There's a lot of different things to put the lights out. So, yeah, you kind of got to prepare in a general way, in my opinion, and buy yourself time, and as much time as possible, all the way up to the rest of your life. If you have the resources and you can, uh, the land or whatever, you can get yourself in a situation where you're self sufficient. You can just live the rest of your life and not even move. That would be the best option, in my opinion. Grow your own food, uh, and just be completely self sufficient, and then you don't have anything to worry about except if roamers, marauders come around. You have to defend what you have. Yeah, yeah, fines that imply prison is only for poor people. Hearst, zombie. Yeah, we see that all the time. Those people up there, they're saying stuff now that, um, if I said here on YouTube, if I use the same language, they'd shut my YouTube channel down. I'd have FBI agents showing up at my door and shit. You know what I mean? I, you know, and they're just saying it out loud on national television and stuff, with no consequences, absolutely none. Yeah, they don't go to jail for that shit. They don't get punished for that shit at all. What is the broad spectrum? Just self sufficiency. In a nutshell, Melody, self sufficiency. Be self sufficient for as long as your resources allow you to now. So, me, I at uh, my state of funding right now, how much money I have to spend. I've been able to acquire a little bit at a time over several years, and I probably have a month, maybe a month of food and water and stuff set aside, and different things. But if I was Elon Musk, I'd be completely self sufficient. I'd have my own community. I'd have a whole community of people, of self sufficient community. If I was Elon Musk, and then we would help each other and shit. So it just depends on your resources. Uh, and think about the basic necessities of life. You need food, water, clean water, shelter, a means of defending yourself, of keeping your food, your water, your shelter, a means of keeping those things, and that and you just need to um, use your available resources to acquire as much of those things as you can for as long as you can. And the more resources you have to expend, the more money you have to spend, the longer that time is. You can set yourself up for a year or the rest of your life, like I was saying. Yeah. How to stay alive? Well, that depends on that goes 100% by the situation, Melody. We can talk about staying alive and stuff through no, that's going to be pure luck. After, if whatever calamity happened, a hurricane, an asteroid, whatever, a nuclear war, whatever, at the end of it, after the dust settles, you're either going to be alive or you're not, and that's not up to you. You know what I mean? Unless you're rich and you can dig a bunker 50 feet down in the ground, and uh, and you have that kind of resources, maybe you survive. But maybe. So, but for me, I don't have that kind of money. I don't have that kind of. I can't do that. I can't set myself up like that with a bunker and shit. So I don't even think about that shit. It's not in my considerations when I'm thinking about this kind of stuff. But if an asteroid landed on top of my head, I don't have a choice. I'm not going to survive it. I cannot prepare for that. You know what I mean? If a tornado ripped through here while I was asleep, I cannot prepare for that. There's no preparation for that. I'll either be alive in the morning or I won't. So in those kind of instances, I'm not worried. Honestly, I'm not worried about surviving the apocalypse. I'm worried about living if I do survive it. How comfortably am I going to live? How I don't want to be starving to death and eating other people and stuff after the apocalypse. That's what I'm worried about. If I don't make it, hell, I don't have anything to worry about. If I knew I wasn't going to survive it, I wouldn't even think about prepping. I wouldn't even think about storing food. You know what I'm saying? To hell with it. Why even waste my time? But I don't know. So I try to set myself up in a way that I have time to assess the situation. Yeah, made before 1979. Yeah, light day. That'd be an important one too. Yeah, Roz. A minimum group a core group of 10 to 12 people who are willing to build somewhere no one else is after, with a good mix of skills ranging from gardening to military tactics. Yes. Yeah. That would be, in my opinion, um, we could go through it and sit down and brainstorm and get down into the brass tacks and everything. But as a basic core idea, that's pretty close to the best. Yeah. You wouldn't want too many people. Too many people would create problems. A huge community. You wouldn't want a real large community. Um, you could take people in as you go along. You know what I mean? Take in survivors and then eject them if they're bad apples or whatever. But yeah, you want to start with a small core group with a broad range of skills. Yeah. Yep. That Raziel hit the nail on the head there, I think. Yeah, stranded for 2 weeks with looters attacking you. Yep, that's the kind of shit I'm talking about, Melody. You've got to foresee that kind of stuff, right? Uh, you got to have the resources to live for a couple months, for as long as you can. You've got to have whatever your thing is, beans, MREs, whatever it is, stocked up at least, well, for as long as you can. There is no minimum. There is no maximum. The rest of your life, hopefully. You stock up as many resources as you can and have a way to protect them. And hopefully, like Raziel says, have a core group of 10 to 12 people that you can count on, um, and you support each other. That would be ideal. Yeah, do some camping. Yes, experience. That's just practice. Just another guy in the woods there. Great, great advice. Yep. Um, yeah. Get with nature. And it's just practice. Just like anything else, practice makes perfect. You practice things. The things you practice the most, you get good at them. And if you go camping and you get attuned to nature, and I'm not in a spiritual, flower girl kind of way, just where you're used to listening to things and seeing into the forest and stuff, and your awareness uh, uh, is attuned to the natural world. And look for tracks, and be able to track, be able to tell how old a track is, that kind of thing. Just practice those kinds of things, and they'll be invaluable. That kind of knowledge. That's one thing that cannot be taken from you. Marauders can come, looters can come and take your beans and your MREs. They cannot take your knowledge. They can't. You know how to start a fire with a bow? They can't take that from you. You know that. Yeah, pretend you're homeless. Yeah, yeah, Hurst, zombie. Yeah, Rodney. Oh no, I want the Mad Max world. Yeah, no, yeah, I want to survive. Yeah, I want to see the post-apocalyptic world, no doubt. Yeah, yeah, I don't mean to confuse people on that. Yeah, no, I'm trying to survive, but you know, I'm not. I'm not going to fool myself into thinking that I'm 100% going to survive. I don't know, because I don't know what the situation will be. If it's a tidal wave that just washes across Florida and washes me out into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going to happen. So yeah, no, I want to survive, but I'm just not. I'm realistic about it. I may not. I may not. I may take an asteroid to the chest, and then I wouldn't be concerned about it if that happened. I'm not worried about what happens if I don't make it through. Yeah, yeah, that's good. Okay, Roz, yeah, small and relatively isolated. That's good. Yeah, Wayne, absolutely, Wayne. And that's a good KISS. We called it in the Army, KISS, and it's a rule we live by. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, just keep it simple. And that's the thing that's hard to kind of get in tune with nowadays. This complexity of society today, all of this digital complexity and all this bullshit. Your car is just a madhouse of buttons and gizmos and screens and shit. What the hell? I like simplicity, and maybe I get that from the Army. I don't know. No, I don't have an asteroid deflection helmet, Ross. Maybe I need to get one, dude. Sarge in America, what's up, Sarge? You snuck in here on me, dude. Yeah, exactly, Sarge. Yeah, I worry about my family. I want to. The main reason because I could just walk out of here, honestly, with a backpack and some defense equipment, and I'd be fine. I honestly would. I might not make it. I'm not saying that I'm some kind of badass Rambo guy or something, but I wouldn't be too worried about myself. But I have family, and I need to think about them. So that's why I try to stock up and do things for my family. So yeah, I could just you know, go solo renegade and do whatever. But I don't have that option. And, I want to look after my family. I want to take care of them. And that's my main objective. Can find tracks in the river. Yeah, on the river banks. Brondo has electrolyte zombie. Yeah, dude. Yeah, put that shit on the crops. Yeah. Oh, that's badass, Sarge. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's a damn good idea. A small community like that, tight knit community. You can lean on each other, assist each other. That's the best. That's the best case scenario. Oh, that's good, man. Yeah, all get together and make a plan to help each other. Yeah. Make. Oh, okay, Rodney. Yeah, herbs and powders. Yep. Oh, it ends on the mystery beyond. Hey, mystery. Russian nuclear treaty ends on February 5th. Oh, all right. So that's something to look forward to. Hell yeah. February 5th. Yeah, maybe next time the lights go out at Walmart, maybe I will feel that shockwave. Hell yeah. All right. Fishing, yeah, learning to fish. That's a valuable one. Fishing is fish are more plentiful, they're more isolated. I don't know how to explain it, but fish are in the water. You know what I mean? They can be in a small stream or a small pond. A deer can run around wherever. Um, so they're not as constricted as fish. So fish, it's easier to harvest fish. You know what I mean? And there are different ways, nets, and you can harvest fish quietly. You fire a gun and you're going to alert everyone around you that, where you are. So fishing seems like a pretty damn good idea to me. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Razio just made another good point. There's also a rule that if you have two, you have one. And if you have one, you've got nothing. Always have backups for survival gear. Yep. No, J Dog. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near a city. Because when even outside a city, those people are going to come boiling out of that city and looting everything around. So yeah, no, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near a city. Nard DB, yeah. What's up, Nard? Glad to see you here. But yeah, exactly. Take books for granted. Yeah, physical books. That's a prep. Yeah, absolutely. Physical books. AI and Google won't mean shit. Exactly. Narb, good point, dude. Yeah. Physical books, edible plants, survival tactics and shit like that. Yeah. Stock up on them. Yep. Herbal medication, uh, first aid, trauma, those kind of handbooks. Yeah, do you know how to stop arterial bleeding and shit like that? You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do it, unless everything has gone downhill. You don't want to practice on real people, but yeah, you want to at least have the ability to save someone's life in the aftermath of something when all of our emergency systems are down. So first aid is another big one. Trauma, life saving stuff. Oh, okay, yeah. If you can fish, then yeah, you're in good shape. Especially if you live near some water. Yeah. Useless eaters versus baby eaters, earth cage, death match, match to the death. Yeah, Brad. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, trot lines. Yeah, Roz. Down here we use cast nets a lot. So yeah, those two. Brad Davis, what's up, Brad? Glad to see you here, man. Yep, Nard, yeah, survival books. And any kind of thing, books on fermenting, uh, uh, what is that? The word's escaping me. Keeping meat, smoking meat, preserving meat and stuff. How to preserve meat in uh, with limited resources, older ways of preserving meat, smoking, salting, uh, canning, that kind of stuff, so you can preserve meat. Because if you do get lucky and get an ass load of meat, then you're going to want to preserve it because you're going to be able to eat whatever you can cook in that moment, and then the next day the flies are going to be all over it. So yeah, all that kind of stuff. Books on any of that stuff will be uh, just insanely valuable in a climactic climactic in a worst case scenario. Trapping, yeah. Yep, trapping, snaring, that stuff can come in handy. And if you know about, say, you're versed with all that stuff, okay? The scenario here. You're versed in all that stuff. You can go set some traps, set some snares, set a trot line, and then go hunting. And on your way back, you spend all day hunting. You check your trot line, check your snares, check your traps. You've just multiplied your odds of bringing home something to eat tenfold. You know what I mean? So, yeah, uh, learning all that stuff and being multifaceted in that way is just well worth the effort to learn. Yeah, basket. Yeah, exactly, Roz. Yeah, that's the way the Native Americans did it. Yeah, and they knew their shit. You know what I mean? That's how they lived. They they provided for their families for eons doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, yeah. So that's 100% gardening. Yeah, learning how to grow your own food, having a store of seeds, trap birds. Melody. Yeah, yep, yeah, yeah, Trip. Yeah, you got to have an exit strategy, in my opinion. I was on another podcast a while back, and those guys were talking about bugging in. Do you have a? They asked me, kind of did a roundtable thing, and they were asking each person, do you bug in or bug out? And my answer was, shit, I bug out. I'm bugging in now. You know what I mean? That's basically, this is how I'm just going to stay here, you know. But the only plan I have is to bug out. That's the only extra plan I have, you know. Um, so bugging in, that's you can't, in my opinion, uh, you can't only rely on that. You do not know what's going to happen. You might be forced to bug out. That might be your only option. And if you're not 100% ready for it, you're screwed. If you're not ready to bug out, you're screwed when you have to. Because that's the thing. You don't know. That's good and fine. I'm just going to bug in. Okay. Well, what happens when you must bug out? You don't have a choice anymore. Whether you're in a wheelchair or on crutches, or you're blind, or hard of hearing, whatever. What happens when you must bug out? So yeah, you've got to have a plan. You know uh, in my opinion, and Tripwire called that there. Yeah, you got to have a plan to get mobile, because you don't know what's going to happen. Oh yeah, all that stuff will come in handy, Melody. Yeah, all that stuff is valuable. Brenning, I've never heard that before. Yeah, oh yeah, all that stuff is, yeah, Roz. It may seem crazy to some people, but in in a in an emergency situation, it'll be life saving. And then and it doesn't have to be a post or apocalyptic emergency situation. Just regular run of the mill emergency situation. We have nuclear meltdowns, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes. We have that shit all the time. So yeah, it just makes sense to me to be prepared for something. Yeah, Narb. Yeah, I've got one. I've got a wrist rocket just for that. Yep, Narb. I agree. They're small. You can collapse them. Some of them, they're collapsible, take up very little space. They're very light, and you can bring down small game and birds and stuff. Yeah. Antibiotic cream. Yeah, Brad. Yeah, Roz. Yeah, they're really handy and portable, and it's better than nothing even in a self defense situation. You know what I mean? Somebody's running at you 100 feet away with a knife. You could pop her with a slingshot a couple times uh, just to slow them down before they got to you. I'd rather fight somebody with a couple of pellets buried in their forehead than somebody that's fresh and ready to go. You bug in, Melody? Well, yeah, I mean, bugging in, yeah, you got to bug in, but you can't only bug in, and then not if you're trying to be realistic, and you've got to have a bug out plan as well. Yeah, bug in by all means, but you've got to be ready to bug out. Yeah, Melody. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm not saying just all bug out. I'm not saying go 100% bug out. I'm saying go 90% bug in and 10% bug out. But you gotta be able. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. No one should just grab. The lights go out. No one should just grab their backpack and run off into the woods. I'm not. I'm not. Condoning that kind of action. Like I said, you need to have enough resources to last a month or so and give yourself time to evaluate the situation. How localized is it? Is it, just your town that's having a blackout or whatever? Or is it the whole state? Or is it the whole country, Eastern Seaboard? What's going on? Is it the entire world, the Western Hemisphere? what's going on. And so, yeah, you got to sit tight for as long as you can and evaluate the situation. Now, once you've evaluated the situation, then you can decide whether or not to bug out. All right. Oh, no, I'm good. I'm going to sit here. I'm good. I'm going to sit here for the rest of my life. All right, fine. But no, I can't sit here. You know what I mean? There might be a situation where I absolutely cannot sit here. We're all going to die. I need to go, you know? So, yeah, you got to be prepared for that. Bucky, what's up? Duck B, you know? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, Sarge, that's good. Yeah, it's good to have a place to go, a plan. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just another guy in the woods. Just listen to the radio. The government knows what to do. They'll give you a big, warm, furry hug, take care of you, and name you George. Yeah. Yeah, Sarge. Yeah. Endless ammo. Yeah. You can pick up rocks and stuff. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Oh, okay. You have a bug out plan too? Okay, good. Yeah. That's the way to go. Yeah. A good tribe can survive, Brad. Yep. A smallish, but solid community is by far the best bug out plan, or the best survival plan, not bug out, the best survival plan. A small, tight knit group of people. Going it alone, yeah, I mean, it's possible. You know, we've all seen, First Blood, but um, your odds of failing to survive go way up if when you're on your own. The more people you have, the better your odds are of survival up until a certain point. And you get too many people, and there's too many people to feed, and then you're going to have your lazy people who don't want to put in the effort and all this shit. You know what I mean? It's got to be a smallish core group of solid people who are willing to contribute and willing to help the community. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, me too, Trip. Yeah, I'm heading north somewhere. I'm gonna go up there and camp out in Raziel's backyard. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, three-stage bug out. Yeah, that's even better. Three different options. Start with the best option and work your way down to backpack and legs. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, crocodile eyes. Yep. I've seen those at night too down here in Florida as a kid. Yeah, Trip. Yeah, 12 is a good number, but that can change. Yeah, people don't know their neighbors anymore, Brad. You're right. And you start out with a number like 12, whatever the number is, right, of your small community. And as I mentioned earlier, you can add to that as as people come in. You can take people in if you want or not, but you can explain to them, you must contribute. If you don't contribute, you're gone, you know? So, and then just filter through them like that. But then you've got you got a situation where if you turn someone away and they go walking off, and then they tell other people where you are, you know what I mean? And then you've got a band of people coming to see you. So different ways to deal with stuff. Yeah, treat your neighbors like you will alligators, Melody. Yeah. Yep. Dog Karma, what's up, Dog Karma? Glad to see you here. Yeah, yeah, it depends on the individual. Yeah, um, yeah, certain individuals will just thrive out there as lone nomads. I mean, honestly, it just depends on what your situation is, your skill set, your deal. But yeah, people do great as just lone nomads. But like Bucky said, their mountain men did it. They just take off back in the what was it, like the late 1800s, mid to late 1800s. They would just take off and go live in the mountains by themselves. So yeah, it can be done. Yeah, families used to care for each other. They used to have multi generational dwellings, um, stick together for generations, care for their old people. How did we get by without Social Security and stuff? Well, because the old people weren't alone. The younger generations took care of them because it was just a shift in responsibility. When the kids are young, the adults are responsible for them. They care for them, and as they grow older, the responsibility shifts, and now you're caring for the older people. So that's just the way it was for eons of human history. Now all of a sudden we're older people are just by themselves. They're just stuck out. So they get sent to old folks' homes and shit or whatever. That's been a change. You can like that or hate it. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that's the way it is, and it's not the way it was. We didn't have old folks' homes in the 1800s. Old people were taken care of by their community, by their family, because they were together the whole time, and those people remembered all of the sacrifices that those old people did for the family, all of the decades of hard work that they put in for building the house. You know what I mean? So yeah, we don't see that anymore. But it'll probably by necessity go back to that at some point because that is the most efficient way of living. Connecting the rabbit holes. Hey, there you are. Glad to see you this morning. You got two boats? Well, we meeting at Lake's house trip. That's the plan. That's our bug out plan. We're all going to meet at Lake's house in Norway. Yeah, Lake's a Viking. Yeah, we'll build a longboat and Lake can be the captain. You live better at your bug out trip. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, the body doesn't want to play ball anymore, huh, Ross? Yeah. You had a large family, Melody? Yeah. Yeah, Bucky, you can't just trust others. Take people in and trust them and shit. No, I'm saying yeah, you got in a community like that, you take people in and you evaluate them. Yeah. And then yeah, just send them back out if they're not if they're not the type that you want around, or or offer them some other means of egress. Oh yeah, yeah, it could be a great idea, like a bug out boat. Yeah, if you're on the water, yeah, that could be a great idea. The bear loved your bees last year, J Dog. like the government loves the people, J Dog. Yeah, Trip, yeah. They'll find it hard to walk on water. Brad, human sacrifice is bad. Yeah. As a rule, I would agree with that, Brad. Yeah, Bucky. Yeah. Evaluate them. Yep. Under close scrutiny. Yeah. Don't give them too much leash. Oh, they've declined, Melody, your large family. Yeah. Yeah, Nard. Yeah. Social Security is on the verge of collapse, but welfare never is. And here's the reason. I can tell you the reason right now, Narb. And if you think about it, one, Social Security is separate. They take Social Security out of our checks separately. Okay. Welfare just comes out of the federal budget. Social Security is in a different account and they can rape that account, right? They can just dip in there whenever they want and take what they want out of there. All right. So now the welfare comes from the federal budget, and that's just money that's borrowed. That infinite well, 38 trillion, that's part of welfare. Social Security is not part of that deficit because they didn't borrow that money. We put that money into that account specifically. Okay. Now, the rest of our taxes just goes into the black hole of debt. It doesn't go directly to welfare like our Social Security money goes directly to Social Security. It's not the same thing at all. They borrow welfare money from the bank along with their war money and their uh, overseas foreign aid money and all that other bullshit. They just borrow that from the bank. And when they collect our taxes, they just put that toward that $38 trillion in debt. That's like paying off a credit card debt. So now we're not even touching the interest on that 38 trillion anymore. That's why I say taxes are just a joke. So $38 trillion, look at that number. So who cares if it's 38,000 trillion? Who cares if it's 38 gazillion, 38 Brazilian, whatever? What is it? The big old number that too big for me to understand. I can't comprehend $38 trillion. $38 trillion. If you stack dollar bills, that probably go back and forth to the sun 89 times or something. You know what I'm saying? It's an insane number that we can't even comprehend. So why are they taxing us? Why are they taking our money? We can't pay it back. Why not just keep borrowing the money? Why doesn't the bank just keep manifesting that money out of the internet, the ether, and just give it to the government? Why do we have to take ours? It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a joke. Yeah. But that's why welfare never goes bad unless they shut down the government. When they shut down the government, then welfare comes to a halt because the government they haven't borrowed the new money yet. They've got to sign that bill so that they can borrow more money, right? That's the whole thing. Grease bag, there he is. What's up? Welcome to the show, Colonel. Glad you could make it. Oh, all right. Just stopping by to say hi. Oh, okay, headed out to the job site. All right, grease bag. Have a good one, man. When you live it off the land and the whiskey and your whiskey, yeah. And that's the thing when you think about it like that. People used to live like that, live off the land and stuff. And during the Depression, the Great Depression, they had reporters, newspaper reporters. They went out and interviewed some people that lived out in the Ozarks and uh, out in the country like that. And those people didn't even know that there was a depression. Their lives hadn't changed at all. They were just living close to the land, you know. And that lifestyle, as a as a whole thing. You know what I mean? That lifestyle has gone away. Now, if you live like that, you're some kind of nut, some kind of hippie, weirdo, wacko, some kind of weird son of a bitch, considered that way. If you live like that, if you live close to the land, off the grid, you're considered weird, and and that's part of the mainstream message that's been sent, been given to society, that these people are strange, they're weird, Amish and hippie communes and all this stuff, right? And I kind of got woke up to that in a conversation the other day. Maybe it was yesterday's conversation, but the whole hippie thing. I think it was Underground that brought up hippies, hippie communes, and I had a knee jerk reaction because to me, hippie, I think of the flower child, the rainbow, people living in vans and not taking showers and shit, and uh, back in the '60s. And my dad actually told me he tried, the whole hippie thing, living in a commune and shit. And he said, well, I found out that once they run out of drugs, they're assholes just like everybody else. So I've never, I just always had this idea of hippie in my mind. But now these people are called hippies. They just live close to nature and live off the grid and shit. And then they're called hippies. They've got nothing to do with hippies, actual hippies. That's like, just it's just this weird thing that mainstream media does, that branding groups of outliers in ways that make them unpalatable, that make them seem kind of weird. Rocker, what's up, Rocker? Glad to see you here. Gonna put in a good word for him with Poseidon. Yeah, I actually, I probably told you all this more than once, but when I was younger, I wanted to live like that. I wanted to get a sailboat and just live on the ocean and sail from dock to dock, port to port, being a handyman. I could go put in at a port and go on land and work for a few weeks as a handyman, restock my boat, and then back out to sea. Yeah, I considered that for quite a while, and I wouldn't do it nowadays, though. Oh, thanks, Narb. I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, thank you, Narb. Thank you for showing up and participating, man. Contributing to the conversation. Honestly, thank you. I appreciate your time, man. Yeah, yeah, Trip. It can't be paid back. It can't. It's impossible. It won't be paid back. It that to we over here in the United States, we're tricked into this thing of we're gonna right the ship, and we're gonna elect the right government, the right politicians, and they're gonna fix the budget and they're gonna pay back the debt, right? um, that's the biggest lie we're sold. None of them are going to fix it. None of them are going to pay back the debt. Nothing. It's not going to happen. Now we're to the point of 38 trillion. It can't happen. It's physically impossible. We'd have to, I don't know, somehow 10x our population overnight and get them all good jobs to pay high taxes and to even start putting a dent in it. So no, it's completely and totally impossible to pay back that $38 trillion. And it already is. Not only can it be used as a weapon, Trip, it is being used as a weapon. Yeah, they're wielding it as a weapon to control our government, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Oh, the Amish could teach us a whole lot, Rocker. I'd like to just go spend about 5 years with them, just learning shit. Honestly, just before the shit hit the fan. Yeah, I'd like to be in an Amish community, just absorbing shit like a sponge. Yeah, that would be ideal. Yeah, yeah, slightly annoyed by the price of chocolate, Ross. Yeah, apartment living. Oh yeah, I would not want to be in an apartment when if, and the shit hits the fan scenario, dude. Yeah, Brad. No, no. Vietnam human sacrifice, Brad. Yeah. They got. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know much about hippies, except what I just said. You know, they were dirty. They lived in vans. They did a lot of drugs, and that's it. That's my idea of a hippie. I'll admit that I'm completely ignorant. I'm probably totally wrong about them. I have no idea. And the only other information I have is what my dad told me about them being, you know, they're just assholes when they run out of drugs, just like everybody else. Uh, so um, their their idea back then wasn't about, you know, living off the land and being close to nature or, you know, being self-sufficient. It was just about rebellion against the system and, you know, getting high. uh, I don't know, they got brainwashed somehow or something because they fell in line. Laic. Yeah, they fell in line. 1/3 Blackfoot. I forget now, but my small amount of Native American ancestry is Nez Perce. All right. Yeah. We'll go Viking. Me, you, and Lake. Yeah. We'll go Viking. Yeah. Yeah. We'll go to Valhalla with Lake trip. Hell yeah. That's a great idea, dude. Yeah. You know, fleet of Zeppelins. Yeah. Maybe we all get it, Ross. Something about the sea, dude. You know, the whole pirate thing. I was just watching Pirates of the Caribbean. I love those movies. You know, Jack Sparrow. They're hilarious and they're just good damn movies. All right, zombie. Have a great day at work, dude. Thanks for dropping by. The Girl Scouts know all the Amish ways. Yeah, that's yeah. Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, and they had some other type of scouting groups back when I was a kid. Yeah, they teach you that kind of stuff. That was really yeah, get a lot of knowledge from them too. Michelle snuck in. Where is she at? Oh, there she is. Hey, Michelle. Glad to see you. Glad you could make it. Yep. Yeah, Brad. Tell live vision propagandists, hippies. Yeah, propagandize the hippies. Yep. Yeah, too much law and neighbor. Yeah, yeah. Small community out removed from dense populations would be the best rocker, in my opinion. Yeah, a lot of stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason, but there are always exceptions. Yeah. Yeah, and I know my view of hippies are is very, very simplified and probably quite wrong. But um, the main point of that was that we have communes of people now who are just living off the grid, right, and rejecting the system's control, and they're called hippies now. And when you call them hippies, my brain automatically shows me an image of a rainbow van and women, you know, women with dirty hair and shit and, you know, laying around on the ground high as shit looking at the clouds. You know what I'm saying? That's what my brain gives me because I've been brainwashed. That's the definition of the word hippie to me. And because I've never seen anything else. But now it's just these hippies now, they're just normal people who are living off the grid, but I guess actually don't have a whole lot in common with the hippies of the 60s, except they don't live in suburbia. Oh, Blackfoot are nearly extinct, really, Melody? I didn't know that. Yeah, show me that horizon, Tripwire. Yeah. Yeah. Techno Amish? No shit. I've never heard that before, Lake. Hardwire, there he is. What's up, Hardwire? Glad to see you here. Yeah, very few of the tribes even got along. Yeah. They did have a coalition, from what I understand. They did have a coalition, like almost like a UN of tribes. Um, but, a lot an actual coalition, not like that bullshit UN. They actually were trying to do something. They weren't, not some kind of political underhanded bullshit like the UN is. What the UN is supposed to be. That's what they had a coalition like that. From what I understand, that might be completely made up shit, as far as I know. A lot of Gen Xers that are hippies, or like the new definition of hippie, Melody, living off grid and stuff. Hippies could have saved the Palestinians. Maybe, Brad. Yeah, we're not dirty hair hippies. Okay, Melody. Yeah, Roz. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about, Roz. And that is brainwashing, and that's what people need to understand. I believe that's what people need to understand. Understand that we have been brainwashed and wake up from it. You know, they use language and propaganda and shit to brainwash us. Now I'm brainwashed into thinking anybody who wants to live off the grid and get away from the system is some kind of hippie communist. You know what I mean? And this is not true. I know people who live off the grid and they're not hippie communists. So yeah, it's just we need to give these things a little more thought and break out of that shell of brainwashing that they have us in. That shit we've been taught through the media and movies and the entertainment industry. Anti-war. Now, if that's the pure definition of hippie, Brad, then I'm a hippie because I'm anti-war. And well, anti-foreign war. I'm pro-war if it's for a good reason. And I don't want anybody invading our country. I don't want anybody invading any country in Western civilization. And if we got to pull on our boots and defend Australia or France or another, then that's commendable. But just to go off into the east and fight some war in the desert for Lord knows what reason, we're spreading democracy. No, 100% against that. Yeah. Mangrove, what's up, Mangrove? Glad to see you here, man. More of an anarchist rocker? Yeah. Yeah, me too, probably. But that word has bad connotations because of media and shit. Yeah, the actual definition of that word, uh, most people don't actually know. Biohack with psychedelics. Oh, yeah, no, that's coming around. That's becoming more mainstream. Bras, from what I understand. Yeah, this whole psychedelic thing, that's more of a more of just a common thing that's happening. People are waking up to that shit, the benefits of that shit. A mother figure was pure Earth child trip. All right. Yeah, the endless war government. Yeah, Brad. Yeah, all I know is what I've learned and what I've been taught. Yep, Rocker. And most of what I know is just shit somebody else has told me. I mean, honestly, most of what I know is just something someone else has told me, whether it be a teacher or a politician or some dude making a YouTube video or a documentary. It's just shit somebody told me, or they wrote it down in a book and they're telling me that way. It's just shit somebody else told me. Were they wrong? Did they have some kind of monetary reason for saying that? Did it benefit them to say that? There are millions of questions you could ask about why they would give you that information. Do they truly just want you to learn and open your mind? So yeah, most of what I know, I is just some shit somebody else told me. Very little of what I know have I learned on my own with my own two hands, my own two eyes, and figured out for myself. So yeah, we got to wake up to that kind of shit. Jesus, I hope to hell Jesus was against human sacrifice. Brad, yeah. Econ and cohorts, yeah. Just briefly, I was just illustrating not necessarily hippies, but the word hippie, the language, and how connotations of language can be can misguide us. They manipulate our language, 1984 style. J Dog's out. All right, J Dog. Thanks for dropping by, man. Oh, all right. Yeah, would have been cheaper hardwire. Yeah, I love camping too. I still do today. Yeah, I wish I had more time to do more of it. All right, Melody. Thanks for dropping by, Melody. I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah, Rocker. Yeah, and that's the thing for that Bud Light fiasco a while back. Um, they were trying to get the younger generations to drink. They were trying to get build a whole new generation of alcoholics. That was their thought process with that whole Dylan Mulvaney bullshit, putting that dude on the can. Okay, what they failed to realize is that it's their largest customer base are Gen Xers. We're not gonna, I mean, if me and my buddy were sitting next to each other and he put that can to his lips with that dude on that can, uh, I would have, he never would have heard the end of it. He would still be hearing about it. I'd still be razzing him about it. Oh yeah, you, you, you. I can't say what I would have said to him because my YouTube channel will get pulled. But yeah, I would have razzed the shit out of him if he put that dude to his lips. So you could not, absolutely could not drink a Bud Light at that time around another dude. They just made it impossible. You had to throw that shit away. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they screwed themselves, but they were trying to get the younger generations to see that Bud Light was hip and gender neutral and all this shit, and they screwed themselves. But they didn't really because now what is it? Miller Lite or whatever is the number one beer, and the company that owns them, Anheuser Busch, owns Bud Light and Miller Lite. So Anheuser Busch didn't lose a dime, but you know um, they got us coming and going. Oh yeah, your first camper, that's the way to go. That's what Ross was saying earlier, Hardwire. That's it. That's his number one bug out plan. His first step is the camper. Yeah. Yeah, certain states, Michelle, I think it's legal. Oregon is one of them, I believe. You didn't go anywhere, Melody? You still here? Yeah, brainwashed by Judge Judy, Brad. Yeah. Yeah. Misled. Yeah, getting old sucks, Mangrove. Yeah, they got hit hard for a minute. Yeah. And it was all because they're losing money because boomers are dying off and Gen Z isn't picking up their slack with alcoholism, right? So they needed to adopt Gen Z into that fold. They needed to bring them on board with alcohol. And it's just not working. Gen Z doesn't drink really. They're into psychedelics and other stuff. Alcohol's expensive. They're broke. Gen Z's broke. They can't, even the ones who want jobs can't get them. What jobs? There aren't any factories. There aren't any good. They can go work at McDonald's or some shit until robots and AI take that over. But they can go flip burgers or something. Yeah, but still, even if they got a job flipping burgers and they're the hardest working one there, they can't afford beer. You know what I mean? When an ounce of weed will last them 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. I don't know because I don't smoke weed, but however long that lasts, 12 pack of beer will last you one night. You know what I mean? If you're a heavy drinker, 12 pack of beer will last you one night, maybe two. You know, so yeah, they just don't. They can't afford to be drinkers. So yeah, even if they wanted to. Yeah, econ. Yeah, still teasing friends from crap in high school. Yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. We razz each other, and you're gonna put that dude on a can and have a Gen Z dude put that can to his lips, and in any universe imaginable, his buddies aren't going to drive him into the ground, razzing him. Okay, yeah, just it was just not well thought out. Yeah, brewing your own beer should be a prepper plan as well. Yeah, or wine or mead. We've talked about that before, Lake. Wine or mead might be um, easier, better option for a lot of people. They don't have access to hops and grain and shit like that. You can make wine out of just about any fruit or berry. Mead from honey. So those might be better options. But yeah, making your own alcohol would be a good prep too. Gen X, we're a bad influence, Bucky. Oh, you were late for work. All right, dude. Have a good one, man. Be cool, buddy. Yeah, someone has to show these kids what's up, Rocker. You damn right, dude. Yeah. Well, not in Florida anymore. They just passed a law where you can't even have the spores anymore, Roz. Yeah, in Florida. Yeah, Brad, create your own job. Don't rely on crypt, corporatocracy, slavery. Yeah, Brad. Yep, exactly, dude. Yeah. Yeah, beer or mead, we're good. Yeah. Yeah, Lake. Okay. Only a few left. Is it enough for the next time? Hardware, yeah. Yeah, Brad. Yeah. That's what I've done myself, Brad. Yeah. Econ. No. What is that the name of your channel? Econ and cohorts? I've said it before. Um, you can email me at genexstinks@gmail.com and send me your icon and the link to your channel, and I'll promote your channel. I'll promote your channel myself the right way. I don't mind. No, Econ and Cohorts. Check out Econ's channel, um, and see if you like it. Another one is Hitting It with Hardwire. Check out his show over there, Hardwire Show. What's the other one? Living and Active has a good channel over there. Laic, Just Another Guy in the Woods. Check out Just Another Guy in the Woods as well. I don't have the links to these channels right this second, but you can look them up, type them in YouTube, check out their channels. If you enjoy the content, subscribe. If you don't, if it's not something you're going to watch regularly, don't subscribe. Give them a like or whatever, but don't subscribe, because that'll actually hurt us in the algorithm. Have a bunch of subscribers that don't watch our channel. YouTube is onto that shit, so don't do that. But yeah, check them out. Econ and Cohorts, Hitting It with Hardwire, Just Another Guy in the Woods, and Living and Active. Good channels, good Gen Xers. We need to support each other. So take a few minutes and check out their channels and see if it's something you might enjoy. Cut wood and cook dinner, rocker. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Yep. Program to job search instead of job create, Brad. Yep. That's on point right there. What I'm talking about, we're programmed. We need to break out of that programming. Right? We need to start thinking for ourselves. And that is the best prep. That's the best way to get off the grid, break out of the system, is with our minds, not the physical off grid, plug in, whatever, solar, all that shit. Okay, that's all great. But you need to break out of that programming that we have. We need to get out off the grid that way. Break free from the system in that sense to be truly free. If you get fired from your job or get laid off, and your first thought is I need to go find another job, that's programming. I mean, that it might be your best option. Okay, go find another job might be your best option, but it shouldn't be your first, because that's programming. All right. So we need to break free from the programming if we're going to be free, truly free. I'm not talking about buck the system and all that. Oh, this bullshit. I'm just talking about be free, freedom from control, freedom from the system, freedom from all this bullshit programming. And that's part of the reason we Gen Xers kind of hope for the apocalypse, because we would be free. We would be free to do whatever the hell we wanted, live how we wanted, and not be thanking the man for every dime we get. Thanking the man. You got to thank the government. Oh, you get a tax cut. We're only going to rob you for 22% of your income this year. Oh, thank you. Thank you, President. Thank you for taking less from me, the less money that you haven't earned in any way that you don't deserve. Thank you for taking less of it from me this year. Would you say that if someone kicked your door in and put a gun in your face and decided to take your VCR and your TV and your computer and shit, would you thank them for leaving your silverware? Oh, thank you. I'm not even going to call the police on you, Mr. Robber. You left me my silverware. What a great guy. I'm going to give you a thumbs up on Facebook. Send me your link to your Facebook account. I'm going to give you a thumbs up and follow you because you didn't take my silverware along with everything else. That's the mentality we're in. And like it or not, it's the truth. So Yeah, we need to wake up to this shit. I mean, honestly, as a whole people, as a civilization, we need to wake up to this shit. Except for Bucky. Bucky's already awake. You know what I mean? Daniel Looney, what's up, Daniel? How's it going, man? Glad to see you here. Yeah, stay out of debt. 3 to 6 months surplus. Yeah, Daniel. Yeah, that's great advice, dude. Yep. Yeah, learn to self program. Viva la revolucion. Michelle, yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, get with the program. Yeah, Trip. What program? This program. Do you know where you can stick your program? Yeah. And my point is, even us that think that we're awake, we're still going by programming. I think I'm sitting here wide awake. Oh, I got my shit together. And then somebody says something about some hippies, and my knee jerk reaction is to think of dirty people, living in vans and shit. That's programming. I'm still programmed. I'm not awake. I'm just scratching the surface of waking up. I'm still bleary eyed and shit. I don't even know is it morning? Is it night? What's going on? Do I just have to pee, or, do I got to start getting ready for work or what? I'm just starting to wake up to what's really going on. Yeah. I left the script. I never have a script. That's one thing YouTube tells you when you start a YouTube channel and you start doing your research and shit. I want to do the best I can. I'm gonna be the best YouTuber ever, and I do my research and shit. Oh, you got to have a script, and your audience and all this stuff. They're not gonna give a shit if you don't have a script and you're not. I thought about that. That would be fake as hell. I did, to pre-plan and write down everything that I think you want to hear, everything that I think you want me to say, that would be fake as hell. So I didn't do it. And I never have. I've never had a script, not once. Not I've got like 400 videos on here, and not once one word has been scripted. It's just me talking to you, having a conversation like real people in real time. Except for my pre-recorded videos, but still, they weren't scripted. Not even my pre-recorded videos weren't scripted. So yeah, I'm always off the script. Yeah. Yeah, keep it small and keep government out of your business. Yeah, econ. Yep. Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. Lake, just another guy in the woods. Yeah. A popularity contest, Michelle. You're right about that. Political party derangement. All right. Melody. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Michelle. Yeah. Yep. They're going to take their cut off the top. And you're supposed to thank them and appreciate them for only taking 26K. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that so much. Hippies are hairy. Yeah, yeah. If you know yourself, you won't be triggered by somebody else's words, Melody. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, the smarter someone is, oftentimes the more programmed they are, and especially the more educated they are, the more programmed they are. Uh, no hardwire. Think about it. We don't have to pay taxes to have those things because the money's just borrowed from the Federal Reserve. So we don't have to pay taxes. They just borrow the money from the Federal Reserve. Our money does not go to that stuff. Our money just goes into a huge black hole of debt that is ballooning, and we're not even paying the interest on that debt now. So what's the difference if if it balloons faster, right? Who cares? They're just borrowing the money. So the Federal Reserve right now, they could say, "Oh, we're gonna suspend payments for 100 years, and y'all don't have to." That's all, just like any other bank does to you. Oh, that your credit card could call you and say, "Hey, we're going to suspend your payments for a year. No payments for the next 6 months. No payments for a year." Oh, great! Yeah, awesome. The Federal Reserve could do that. It's the same thing. They could say no payments, and we wouldn't pay taxes for a year or for 100 years. That's very possible, and we wouldn't pay taxes, and nothing would change. They would still lend the government money. The government would still build roads. They don't build roads. They don't do that shit with the money. They'd still send those taxes, that money they borrowed overseas, and fund that propaganda over there. They'd still fund their wars. They wouldn't miss a beat. Nothing would change. So yeah, I don't. I I I woke up to that here in the last few years, that our taxes don't actually go for that stuff. Mayday, Wayne. Oh yeah, when you have a lots of time alone, Roz. Yeah, and you have a lot of time to think. Yep. Yeah, yeah. No, Bucky. Yeah, they can't. They can call me a lot of things, a dumbass, all kinds of other stuff, but fake isn't one of them. No, you're right about that. Yeah, peaceful, quiet place, no road, no neighbors. Yep, that sounds like heaven. Well, our taxes don't fund the military, Mangrove. That's part of our programming. Our taxes do not fund anything. Nothing. The only thing, our Social Security, which is a separate tax, that goes to a Social Security fund. The rest of our taxes just goes to the Federal Reserve, a big black hole of debt. They don't take our taxes and directly fund our military. Our taxes don't get doled out to military and welfare and stuff like that. That's not how it works. The government borrows the money from the Federal Reserve, okay? And every year they collect money from us and give it back to the Federal Reserve to pay the interest on that loan, which is up to $38 trillion now, their debt. Their debt, not ours. Okay, so they just keep borrowing all this money and spending it on shit. And we're paying the interest on that loan, just like as if you paid a credit card payment. And you just make the minimum payment. You just pay the interest. You know what I mean? Our tax dollars do not go to fund that. We're just paying interest on a loan. All right. So yeah, that's just not the way it works. But I thought that's the way I thought our tax money went to pay for that stuff for most of my life. Only recently have I really thought about it and woke up to the realization that it doesn't. They borrow the money and then they waste it. And then they rob us and throw it into that black hole of debt. That's how it works. Oh yeah, hardwire. Yeah, we can't. I'm not saying we just give up, but I'm saying it's unsustainable. That it can't last forever. It can't go on forever. By no means. I do this pretty regularly. I put it on a smaller scale. We look at it on a big scale, the government and stuff, and it seems huge and eternal. But if you put it on a smaller scale, if you had a $10 million credit card and you bought $10 million worth of shit and you're making 40 grand a year, eventually they're gonna cancel that credit card. You're gonna have to declare bankruptcy because you can't pay that 10 million back. All right. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. We cannot pay that 38 trillion back. It's physically impossible. The number is too big. It just can't happen. So it's got to collapse. It's gonna fall apart one day. I I don't think we should give up or anything like that. But they put us on this unsustainable road, and we're on it. I mean, to deny the road we're on also isn't helpful. That's not going to help us in any way. So at least we'll go into it with our eyes open and knowing what's going on. You know, we have to admit the truth to each other. You know what I mean? We have to. We can't keep pretending that our tax money is going to fund welfare and shit. It's not. You know what I mean? It's just not. Okay. Yeah. So they're not income taxes. Yeah, the debt is sold. Yeah. Yeah, and if China and Russia and those other big countries they decide that our debt is no longer a good investment, we're done. No, well, we borrow from the Federal Reserve, and then other countries can buy. It's a big Ponzi scheme. Other countries can buy certificates for that debt, right? Yeah, but we borrow it from the Federal Reserve, from the central bank. Every country in the world, I think there's only 5 countries in the world that don't have central banks, and they're all the countries hated. North Korea, Iran, countries like that. They've refused to take a central bank like our Federal Reserve, and they're all the countries. They're all the evil, bad countries. Yeah, and then they taxed the military trip. Yeah, yeah. People on welfare don't pay taxes for working. Yep, yep. And we don't choose to pay into Social Security. It's not an option. It's taxed. It's robbery. Yep. Hardwire. Yeah, Japan and China. Okay. Yeah, I believe that. Probably some of those rich Middle Eastern countries too. Hardwire, I would guess. Fake money, it's all fake, Brad. All money's fake. I mean now, especially now, um, all all value that's in money is just in our minds. It's only worth something because I say it's worth something. If I decide that the dollars aren't worth anything, then they're not worth anything to me. If you want something I have, you better give me something real. I want a gallon of milk. You know, I don't want your $10. I want a gallon of milk in trade. Period. If you want what I have, go buy a gallon of milk and trade it to me. And then dollars are useless. Dollars have no value to me because I've decided that they don't have any value. So all that bullshit, that shit's fake. I mean, and and I have a difficult time explaining this concept to people that their money is fake. It's just manifested out of the ether of the internet. It's just dots on a screen now, most of it. Now, we still have some physical dollars out there in circulation, a lot of dollars, but it's still the value of those behind those dollars is just fake. It's just an idea that we have, the idea of value. And the digital currency representing those dollars is even less real than the physical dollars. They don't exist, and uh, all it is idea. It's dots on a screen, and thoughts in our head. There's no real. It's just not real. It's a big scheme that's been perpetrated on us, and we've bought into it as a society, as a people. We bought into it. Yeah, Brad Davis. It's a corporation. It's a privately owned company. The Federal Reserve, the banks that lend America money are privately owned. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's going to be disastrous. Yeah, that I'm not looking forward to that hardwire. Yeah, but it's inevitable. Yeah, I mean, it might not happen for 100 years. It might not happen for 200 years after all Gen X is gone. I'm not, I'm not foreseeing financial doom or anything like that. I'm not some kind of fear monger, but just facts. Facts are facts, and this kind of uh, just uncontrolled spending and ballooning debt is untenable. You can't keep it up forever. It's got to stop. It must. You know what I mean? We can't 10x our population overnight and give everybody $200,000 jobs and to pay back this debt. We can't do it. It's impossible. So it's not going to happen. Even if that might not even scratch the surface of the debt, but even if we were able to do something like that. Yeah, peace sells, but who's buying? No country leader, no government leader, rocker. Japan owns itself. Yeah, yeah, Michelle. Yeah, barter and trade, survival of the fittest. Yeah, that's what's so appealing about like a some kind of post-apocalyptic society starting over. All right, everybody, it's time. Past time, actually. Holy shit, I didn't realize what time it was. Okay, I got to get going, everybody. Uh, Thanks. This is a really fascinating conversation we had today. I like it when we get off into these deeper subjects and um, give ourselves things to really think about. Food for thought. You know what I mean? Because we all have, even on the things we agree with, we're coming at them from different angles. You know what I'm saying? So we all need to, in my opinion, um, process this kind of stuff and open our eyes to what's actually going on with debt and all these different things that affect us today. And like I've said before, not not actually necessarily in order to do something about it. I'm not saying we take to the streets or give up and off ourselves or any stupid shit like that. I'm I'm just saying at the very least we can go into this future with our eyes open. We might be run off of the cliff with all the rest of the sheep, but we can at least be the black sheep with our eyes open. You know what I mean? And know as we're going off that cliff that those son of bitches didn't fool us. They might have fooled the rest of these sheep, but not us. Um, that is the bare minimum of what we can do. The bare absolute minimum. So, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we grab our pitchforks and take to the streets. I'm saying that at least we can go into this with our eyes open, with full consciousness and awareness of what these sons of bitches are doing. You know what I mean? So we're not suckers. We're not dupes. History can at least show that much that we weren't buffoons. We weren't the suckers. If we go down in history like that, that would be at least the minimum that I could live with. I don't want to go down as the suckers that just sold away their civilization and lost everything. At least we went into it with our eyes open. No, there's a big banking hearing today on the news. Okay. All right, 63. Yeah, I'll look into that. All right, so I'm going to say goodbye to 63, Brad Davis, Bucky, Savage Lee. Yeah, resilience before resistance, Savage. Exactly, dude. Tripwire, Rocker, Raziel, Melody, Just Another Guy in the Woods, Bucky. Who else we got? Econ and cohorts. Be sure to check that channel out, everybody. Hit Hardwire, and be sure to check out Hitting It with Hardwire. Just Another Guy in the Woods. I said him earlier, but check his channel out too. Did I say Brad Davis already? Let's see who else we got here. Nard was here. Thanks for showing up, Nard. Michelle, I think I said Michelle, but Michelle can get 2 goodbyes. Who else did we have here? Daniel Looney was here. Goodbye, Daniel. Dog Karma was here for a bit. Goodbye, Dog Karma. All right. If I missed your name, I apologize, but I just got to go through the comments here to try to find everybody's name. Jeff Seven was here. J Dog. All right. Mangrove. Can't forget my boy Mangrove. Wayne Beatty. So if I missed your name, I apologize. I truly do. I like to say goodbye to everybody. But it's hard to get everybody on the, just scrolling through the comments. So thank you for coming and hanging out with me, whether you agreed with a damn thing I said or not. Still, it's fun to talk with y'all and have conversations and share ideas. And that's the most important thing. Whether we agree with each other or not, we need to talk about it and at least share ideas and learn from each other what we can. Share our knowledge with each other, whether it's about, how to prep or what the central banking system is doing or where our taxes go or, the color of some rocker's hair back in the 80s, whatever the hell it is, dude. You know what I mean? We can hang out and talk about it. So thank you so much, everybody. I have a lot of fun and I appreciate your time. Truly and sincerely, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And this spiel is going to be for Hardwire. I know you've been waiting on the spiel, dude. It's your favorite part. So without further ado, the spiel. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, it's only $2.99 a month. And I'll put that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. But I really appreciate all the support from the members out there. This is the members banner here. And I really appreciate these people. They support the channel directly through memberships, and it helps out a lot. So thank you very much to all the members. If you're interested in genex gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. Genex things and genex branded stuff, t-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, hoodies, all kinds of stuff. But I'll leave that link down in the description too for any of you who are interested. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Genex Things, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us, and the email is genxthings@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.